You guys, I have huge carnivore news. Huge carnivore news for me, at least, and maybe for you. We joined Carnivore because my husband has autoimmune disorders. I don't have anything wrong with me, technically. I mean, there's some things that it's cured that I didn't know were wrong. I did this with him so he can keep those at bay. That's why I'm doing it. So I wasn't here to lose weight. I wasn't here to, heal from crazy, medical things. I just was along for the ride. The thing is I see these videos where everybody's losing weight on Carnivore, and I got some pounds to lose, and everybody gets to their ideal weight, or I see on Facebook groups, people post these before and afters, and they just are like ripped and like just looking so good. I'm like, I want to be ripped. I want to see what my ideal body's going to look like. I don't exercise much. I mean, I do rebounding and walk the dog and stuff, but I'm not an athlete, and I'm not a super, I'm never going to be one of those people. I just don't like to exercise. I do love rebounding though. It's just not fair. Why are some of us not losing weight? I've actually gained weight on Carnivore. We lost weight right in the beginning during the fat adaptation. I had diarrhea. Your body's trying to figure out what the heck is going on, burning fat versus, burning carbs and sugar and stuff. It was awesome. So lost all this weight. I'm like, this is the way it is. Carnivore is amazing. And then I slowly started balancing out and I felt more comfortable by the time I fat adapted basically. And I realized I wasn't doing good with butter. Butter was making me have diarrhea, really soft stools. Cut that out. And once I figured that out, months into it, I think, I was like, oh, regular poo is normal on Carnivore. So obviously the fat was, the butter specifically, was doing something to me. Anyway, so since then, since I've been really balanced and feeling great and doing great, I've been slowly gaining some weight back, and which is fine. And I just figured, well, okay, everybody says have a stick of butter. Women need a stick of butter for their hormones and blah, blah, blah. But if your hormones aren't out of whack, do you need a stick of butter? That's kind of been my whole thing. So I've played around with it. I've basically been trying to base it off of ketones. Why can't I get into ketosis? What is going on? I don't get it. Why is everybody else able to drop all this weight, get into ketosis, but I feel great? And I know it doesn't matter because you are in ketosis if you're not having any carbs, because we're 0 carb carnivore. Basically to start living off the protein and fat. And here's the thing. So Dr. Barry, we watch a lot of him. He says, eat until you're comfortably stuffed, and then don't eat again until you're hungry enough to eat like a steak, a whole steak. Well, I can throw down a lot of food. I am comfortably stuffed eating a lot of food. I was eating, nothing like what Steve eats, but Steve is an athlete. But he'll eat like a whole pound of steak twice a day, 2 pounds. I was eating, okay, I'll eat, 8 to 10, maybe 11 ounces of steak. Plus I was trying to add fat. So I was eating air fried fat bites each meal, or eating just way overeating, like a ton of ribs or something, way overeating. And it's so basic what has turned out to be the cure for me. I did do 1 meal a day for a while, and I could get in ketosis, really high ketosis, on eating 1 meal a day. So I was like, well, it's not sustainable. I'm starving after 2 days of 1 meal a day, then I'm starving and I eat a huge, I have to eat twice, which is fine, but it's just not, I don't know, I'm really hungry, in between. A lot of people are saying don't do fasting anymore. Now they're realizing for women, maybe fasting isn't the greatest thing to do. So I was trying to incorporate that. Then I got that book, How to Fast Like a Girl, and Mindy Peltz, and I loved that. And I was kind of trying to incorporate some fasting into like that with my cycle and just weird stuff. And I have figured out my mystery. I'm overeating, period. Nobody talks about that on Carnivore. I am overeating. I went back onto the Carb Manager app. It's free. Don't pay for the Carb Manager premium. You don't need it. You can just type in there. I did this in the beginning, maybe a month after we'd started Carnivore, just to figure out what my macros were. Like, how much fat do I need for this amount of protein? So I was kind of eating the right amount of fat for it, but I only did it for like a week or so to try to figure out how much fat I needed to get, in with how much steak I was eating. And then I stopped once I figured out the foods that we eat, like salmon, I need this much fat. Or I decided to revisit the Carb Manager app and just see if I follow this strictly, what's gonna happen. Because I just kept gaining weight, and I knew I was probably overeating, but what if it was just, I needed way more fat or whatever it would be. you type in basically what your goal weight is, and then you switch it over from keto. It defaults to keto. You switch it to 0 carb carnivore. If you're gonna have some, carbs, you could just go over on those or whatever. But we're doing 0 carbs since we don't do any dairy or anything. Voila! Immediately, within like 2 days, I've been in ketosis the entire time. Ketosis when I wake up, ketosis before I eat, ketosis after I eat. I just checked right now and I'm in a high level of ketosis. I cannot believe it. My mind is blown. So I've lost 7 pounds and it's been 2 weeks and a day and I've lost about 7 pounds. And it was just melting off each day. It's just a little bit lighter. And it's blown my mind. So that's a factor that some of you guys might need to think about. I'm by no means starving myself to death. The first couple days I was like, man, I want to eat more. I want to eat until I'm stuffed. That's not how my body's working, I guess. I don't need to eat until I'm stuffed and comfortably stuffed. And I need to be hungry in between. That's one aspect I wasn't paying attention to. I need to be hungry. My body, I don't have all the healing to do that a lot of people do where you need a lot of extra fat and stuff. I'm already where I would need to be, I think. I just have a few pounds to shed. I'm gonna try to lose about 10 more pounds. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just thrilled. I'm so excited. I want some of you guys to know too, if you've been discouraged, you might be in the same boat as me. You might just be overeating, like way overeating. I was eating just whatever, pork rinds with butter or whatever. And I can't eat butter now, by the way. Once I fat adapted and my body figured itself out, I can have butter, but I'm not having a ton of it. I use tallow and beef fat chunks, air fried beef fat. Oh, so good. Okay, that's what I've done. I am using the Carb Manager app specifically. I am typing in every single thing that I'm eating, and I can basically portion out what my whole day is gonna be, and then I can decide how I wanna do it. If I'm not that hungry in the morning, I'll just leave some of that, and I'll maybe have a snack later. Or if I eat my 2 meals, I might leave a little bit, especially when I first started the first couple days of doing this. I was more hungry, I was more famished until my body figured out what was going on. Now it knows it's regular and it's fine. I'm not starving in between. If I'm full enough and I know I probably will be hungry later because we ate early or something, I'll leave, a handful of bites of my steak and just put them back in the fridge, and then later I can come in and eat it. Or I won't eat one of my eggs, I'll come back and eat an egg, later. So that's what I've been doing. I'm portioning out what it is for the day, or I'm weighing it for every single meal. It's basically, I'm gonna have 7 ounces of meat for where my goal is gonna be. I'm gonna try to get to 140, I think. I've never been that low. I've been to 144 in Carnivore, and I've never been to 140 in my life, ever. Except growing, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna try to do. I don't have a ton more to go, like 12 pounds. I'll try to go 10 pounds. We'll see what happens. Because I'm sure once I start getting closer, it'll start to level off. But it makes sense. You're basically eating for the calories your body would need to consume to be at that weight. And then you stay there because you're not gonna gain or lose anything unless you start exercising more and burning more calories. But I pretty much do the same sort of thing all the time. My day doesn't change a lot, Anyway, it's basic math, and it's probably not mind-blowing to everybody, but it was to me because it's actually working. I wanna be in ketosis, I feel good when I'm in ketosis, and I'm not starving, I'm getting enough food. I looked it up, I think my calories are like nearly 2,000 calories. I'm certainly not starving, and I'm having steak and stuff, so it's not anything where, oh, poor Steph, she's starving to death. Not at all. I'm perfectly eating fine for my size and my weight, and I'm not starving, I'm fine. But I can't believe how simple it is. I must have just been having way too many calories. Some days I could eat a whole pound steak or something. I think I can just eat. So that's the trick for me, and it's working for me. It might work for you guys. When you're first starting out, don't do any of that. Just survive. It's just so easy to get discouraged. Wait until you're bored with it, and a lot of you guys are gonna lose weight in the beginning anyway just because you quit eating the crap. Ignore all of this till you're at a state where maybe you're in a stall. Then revisit your macros, go to Carb Manager and see what you should possibly be eating for what your weight is and adjust to that and just see what happens. That might be what it is. I know a lot of people cut out dairy and that will make them drop weight really fast. I can't tell if dairy does. I cut it out for a long time because I was thinking that must be it. Maybe I'm having some dairy. But it doesn't seem to do anything for or against me. So I think dairy's okay, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not having it right now because if I can have extra calories or extra protein, I want steak. That's how I'm doing it. Basically, I'm only eating steak, salmon, and fat. Maybe a pork rind dipped in some butter every once in a while. I just wanted to share this with you guys because it was very, very frustrating this whole year of doing carnivore. My blood's looking good, my body feels great, everything's healthy. I know I'm gaining muscle. So when I did gain weight, I was gaining it differently. It looked different on my body, but it certainly was, why am I gaining weight? You know, so I know that that's one thing. You should not use the scale. You should use your clothes and how they fit and how you feel in your body. But I've passed all that. I've done those things. I'm fine with where I am. I just don't know why I'm gaining weight. And now I know. Eating way too many calories. I'm having 7 ounces of steak. That will get me there. 7 ounces is plenty, twice a day. Plus a couple ounces of air fried fat bites, 2 eggs, maybe some butter. We've been making this thing called butter eggs. You just poach an egg and put it in a bowl with a tablespoon of butter and stir it up. Oh, it's so delicious. So good. So I do that with my 2 eggs. So on the days that we have hot eggs, we're having butter eggs, and I'll just have a little less fat. So my ratios are right. I feel great. My energy's fine throughout the day. I'm not hangry. It's just, I've found what works for me, and it might work for you. And I want you guys to be comfortable in your own skin too, because I think we're carnivore for life. So I need to get a hold of this. I don't want to just keep gaining weight the whole time. And I want to, get to what my ideal weight might be. Somebody a long time ago said, if you're 100 pounds, 5 pounds for each inch you are above that. And I don't know if that's true or not, but so if I'm 5'8", which I think I've shrunk, I've been 5'9", but I might be closer to 5'8.5"-ish or so, that'd be 140. That is probably between 140 to 145 would be where I would need to be, right? I don't know. That's what I think. So that's what I shot for. When I was 144, I wasn't emaciated. I was fine. So we'll just see. I'll shoot for 145. How about that? Only like 7-8 more pounds then to that, and no big deal. At this rate, I think it'll get there quickly. We'll see. We'll reevaluate when I get there, but I've solved myself. And I think some of you guys, it might be just strictly overeating or not eating your ratio right. Like the macros of, and I know all the different ones have different calculations, but the Carb Manager one's working for me to get me in ketosis, because I thought maybe I was just broken and couldn't get in ketosis because I haven't been able to get in there the whole time. And I think it's because, from what I've been reading, eating way too much protein and plenty of fat. But if you have too much protein, it can, turn to glucose or whatever it is. But my glucose has been fine. I checked that on on Keto Mojo too. I just want you guys to know there's hope for the ones like me who have tried other things, and you've heard it and watched all the videos, and you just have never had the light bulb go on that, oh, maybe I'm eating too much, too much. That's what I was doing. Enjoy your life.